Good afternoon, Lancaster. Welcome to Lancaster Connects. It is January 20th, 2025. We're broadcasting live from Gardner's Mattress and More. Lancaster Connects is a show about great people doing amazing things in Lancaster County, be it a small business like Gardner's Mattress and More, the business I share with my business partner, Jeff, or a nonprofit or charitable organization, or like our great guest that's about to come on here, a semi-pro sports team and organization. Really, really cool conversation we're going to have soon here. We'll bring them on with Lancaster Inferno. You may notice here at Lancaster Connects, I feel like we need an under construction sign on our, there's my son just walking by. Kids are off school. It's Martin Luther King Day. So kids are off school. Julian just walked by in the background there, but you might notice we are under construction here with our branding at Lancaster Connects. Some of the graphics on the screen look a little different. Our color scheme is at Lancaster Connects is matching the Gardner's Mattress and More color scheme. So we're in a bit of a renovation, if you will, a brand renovation. So we've got a new intro video coming. We're super excited about that. We're probably launch that in a few weeks here. Apologize for our mess, right? Under construction sign, right? So, welcome to Lancaster Connects. Glad you've taken time out of your busy Monday afternoon to watch. You can watch on a number of different platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, of course. You can search up Lancaster Connects, all of those different ways to watch. You can watch past episodes like producer Chris here has on the screen, lancasterconnects.com/episodes. I believe this is episode 177 or 8, maybe 8. Tons of great conversations, again, with wonderful people in Lancaster doing great things, available at lancasterconnects.com. And you can also, of course, Gardner's Mattress and More channels, Facebook, YouTube. We also broadcast live there. Love to hear from you during the show. If you got a question for our guest, you got a question for me, you want to say hello in the chat, whatever. Love to hear from you during the show. Give it a heart, give it a like, whatever. Send us a comment. Love to hear from you. All right. Enough babbling from my standpoint. Let's bring on our guest. I'm really excited to introduce from the Lancaster Inferno program, soccer program here in Lancaster County. We've got Francisco Cleaves, who is the president of Lancaster Inferno, and Teresa Rook, who's a player and coach. Hello, Francisco and Teresa. How are you today?
Hi, great.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to be on the show. We've got going to have a great conversation introducing who you are, who Lancaster Inferno is, what you do. We've got some events that are coming up for you that we'll talk about towards the end of our time here. But first, I want to know a little bit about you. We'll talk about Lancaster Inferno, but Francisco, I know that you grew up in Honduras, and of course developed a passion for soccer and came to this country and became part of Lancaster Inferno. Can you share a little bit about your journey there?
Yeah, sure. I did. I was born in Honduras. I grew up there, and like you said, that's where I started playing. I was fortunate enough to grow up right in the Caribbean, so there was a lot of beach ball. I really didn't play organized soccer or football until I was in junior high. And that was my first real, discipline training. And that's something that always stuck in my mind, is that we just play pickup ball, just like you would hear, football or basketball. So it really, I think it's something that we are trying to recreate, and Teresa can talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, I came to the States. I did all my high school here at a boarding school, and ended up playing soccer at a small liberal arts college in Tennessee, because I had 2 friends there, and I'm gonna date myself. Late 90s, early 80s, and it was a great experience. And the main thing that it taught me was discipline, and just the American approach towards training and all the discipline that goes with it. So I'm I got the passion for soccer, but I learned all the discipline and that from my coaches and really just to be a winner. So after that, I coach at Tennessee Tech, right out of college. And then ended up moving to, my wife's from Michigan, and then moved to the Midwest. And mostly just played soccer. And, eventually I came to understand that, girls can play soccer. I still had that mentality when I first came. And that's why my oldest daughter didn't start playing soccer until 2 years later. I said, she can't play soccer. You kidding me? They're going to, I was used to a whole different game, really rough. But I really passionate about it. And I'm blessed that, after my retirement, I can dedicate my time to what my passion is. So
that's cool. How did you become involved with Lancaster Inferno?
Actually, my youngest daughter was trying out for the Lancaster Inferno team because that existed here already.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what happened. She didn't make it, or they already had a full team, but she ended up having to travel outside of Philly to be able to play after college and, during the summers at a Pro-Am team over there. The previous owner of the semi-pro team wanted to take a break. So I said, well, sure, it's just during the summers. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But so that's how it started. Last year, we completed our 10th year where we've been operating it. But Teresa was part of the team before we became the owner of the team. So yeah, it's grown into something that I never imagined it would be. But it's been really exciting. And Lancaster County is a hotbed for especially for female soccer players. And we've been really lucky to have made it to 2 national championships in our previous league. And last year we made the playoffs in the first year playing in this new league that also has a pro league that they kicked off. So we're really excited about the prospects for our players to continue playing. And Teresa could probably talk about it because really before the only option was if you didn't get drafted by one of the 12 teams in the NWSL, you had to go to Europe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a lot more opportunities, and, women's soccer is really growing at that pro level, which we really need.
That's awesome. Well, Francisco, thanks for sharing your story. We're going to hop over here, talk to Teresa, learn a little bit about Teresa's soccer history. Teresa, I know you spent time at James Madison University. You've had a standout playing career. It's what the paper's telling me. You can share more about what that means. And you've had some professional stints with the U.S. and even some other countries. So let's hear a little bit about your soccer journey.
All right. Well, I started playing really young. My brother played, so I wanted to, and my mom would be disappointed if I didn't say she was my first coach at 6. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. That's awesome.
My dad coached me for a while after that, but yeah, I just grew into different clubs. I, traveled to Philly at times, and played with higher level clubs that led me to a scholarship to James Madison, where I absolutely loved my experience. My head coach, Dave Lombardo, was amazing. We went to 3 NCAA tournaments. We won our CAA conference when we still played in the Colonial Athletic Association. And then, I got drafted, and Francisco mentioned, if you can't play with the 12 teams, when I got drafted, there were 6 teams, only 6.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I played for a month when I got drafted. I didn't make the team. So I ended up going to Canada. And then after that I went to Sweden, and I knew I wasn't going to do it for a long period of time because I wanted to get into teaching,
Sure.
which I do now. Then I went to Iceland and back to Canada for a little bit. And then I've been playing with the women's team ever since that in 2015.
Okay.
I took a year off. I had a daughter, so I figured I should take a year off. And then got back at it last year with some of the younger collegiate athletes. But yeah, it's been a journey. And Lancaster Inferno's a summer league. May through July is really set up through for those college players, or returning professionals, or pursuing, players pursuing professional careers. But it is a short season. So that's been something that Inferno has been able to provide those players in their off season, so they can continue to grow and compete.
That's awesome. I mean, congrats on your playing career. That's just really, really cool. So let's learn a little bit more about the Lancaster Inferno, how it got started, maybe a little history, and of course you have a couple teams, more than a couple teams. You've got the semi-pro team, and then you've got a whole youth program. So maybe share a little bit about the history and the mission of what you do there at Lancaster Inferno.
So I'll date myself here. I'll let Francisco talk about kind of, how they picked up the team a little bit more. But I played in 2008. That was our first summer. Okay. So those were my summers in between college. Yep. So that's when I first started. And we played, like I said, May through July for years. And we had a solid group of girls, college athletes that were staying home for the summer and needed a place to play. But with our youth team, this is our third year with our youth program. So we had this wonderful women's team. We were competing, getting top level players. But we didn't really have that pathway where we wanted to have our youth players become our great women team players. So, we were getting players from other local clubs, and they were training the way that other coaches wanted. So we wanted to form an all-girls club. We wanted to give the best coaches, the best players, to grow our women's team. So really have that true pathway. So 3 years ago, we started our youth club, our all-girls youth club, and we had 6 teams. We were really excited about it. It was small. Then we grew last year to 8 teams. And now we have 10. We have 10 youth teams, and we started this academy team, which is our older group. It's our really unite team, but it's the best players in that high school age group, which is encouraged in our league to have a mix of age group players, kind of like a high school team. Mm-hmm. Last summer, we had our U20s, our U23s, and our first team women's team, which were our summer teams. And if you look at the screen, you'll see that academy team, which I coach now with Wendell Hannaford. Those are the players that we expect to then become our women's teams players when they're of age and they're the college experience or beyond. So we're really excited about the growth we've had and the players and the families and just everybody that has committed to the excitement of the all-girls youth program. It's been really an amazing experience.
That's awesome. So, I mean, obviously the offerings and the club has grown. Is that due to the popularity of soccer in this country in general, and women's soccer specifically?
I think there's been a lot of excitement over the World Cups, the Olympics, the growth of the women's professional leagues, and like Francisco said, there's 2 now, and the USL W League that we play in, they now have this women's pro league. So there's just more opportunity. I mean, soccer is this popular sport, and it's a sport that not only you're competing, you want to win, but you're growing as a person. You're making lifelong friendships, experiences, all the things that I had that we want to provide for our female athletes. Just not only the soccer experience, but the life experiences and the things that you want to do in life, be successful, work hard, stay committed. Those are skills that we want our young athletes to have.
That's awesome.
Just to give you an idea about the growth in the area, when we first moved here, my family moved here in 2003. My youngest daughter, we had to go to Downingtown to be able to play in a high quality team. There was no teams here. Right now we have. So it's good and bad. It's good because there's more opportunities, but also, we have realized that you can't just go and recruit players, right? You got to grow them. You got to develop them yourself because there's so many other clubs now. And beyond that, I think one of the things that Teresa was starting to touch is the culture of the club, the culture that Teresa helped create with the women's team is what we want for all our other teams because just not just the friendships they develop, but also their commitment to excellence is something that we're really proud of, and that's what we want with our youth program too.
That's awesome. I had a question that was in my head, and it just like totally went out.
Happens.
One question I know I want to ask. Where do you play your games? So you have the semi-pro team and then all your youth. It just came back into my head what I want to ask. But yeah, where do you play your games?
Our women's team has been renting Warwick. Our youth teams, we practice over at Spooky Nook. Liz Track, our field that's now we're turning into turf. With their support, they're making a turf field for us. Those are for youngest 77 and 99 groups. Just local Mannheim area. Any fields that we can rent to use for our club.
That's cool.
I guess this will be the first public notice. We did play one game a few years ago at the Clipper Stadium.
Okay.
So we're currently in talks with them to see how we can play more games.
Oh, that's awesome.
This coming season at Clipper, I mean, they're great people to work with. Obviously, the scheduling becomes something that we're working on, but we hope that we can at least play, at least half of our season there, just because we've always thought of ourselves wanting a more central location for Lancaster to see it. So I don't know if we had even told Teresa about it, but so that'll be.
Well, now I'm going to have to play.
Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm retired.
Well, that's so cool.
Good news.
I love it. I mean, we had Mike Reynolds, who's the GM of the Barnstormers and Clipper Magazine stated. We had him on. Well, he's been on the show a couple times, but we just had him on in the middle of December, and we were talking about some of the different ways that they use the ballpark. Obviously, baseball, the Stormers team, but man, they use the stadium and the event space for all kinds of incredible things. And I think it would be great to have soccer games in there. I mean, right downtown, it's perfect location. You got parking, the plenty of seats. So that's really, really, really cool. So the question I wanted to ask earlier that I just went right out of the brain. Could I compare what Lancaster Inferno does, at least the youth program, to kind of like a club team? For example, my daughter does club volleyball. She's actually had a tournament this weekend in Atlantic City. I think they're on their way back. But is the Lancaster Inferno youth program kind of similar to a club program?
It's exactly that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we will train our team almost year round. Like our high school players, they are committed to the high school season, and then we'll pick them up afterwards when they're done and train through the winter into the spring. But depending on what age group, 4 to 7 tournaments in a year, travel together. Absolutely, that's what it is. It's our youth club team. It's just all girls. Yep, and we want them to grow within our program. Absolutely.
That's cool. Well, let's talk about the players a little bit. What does it mean for the youth of Lancaster to be part of the Lancaster Inferno program? And how does the team support their growth, on and off the field? I think you've kind of hinted at it, throughout the interview here, but what does it mean for some of these players to be part of the Lancaster Inferno program?
I would hope that is something that they're proud of, because, we're proud of them and the players that we have and the families we have within our small community, within our small club. I think the way that we grow them is, we invest more than just, practices and games, and we do player development plans where they meet with their coaches and they mark out their goals and where they can see their growth and where their strengths and possibly weaknesses are, so that they can become better players. We planned seminars last week. We met with 2 college coaches and we do questions for them so that they can prepare. It's not just for our older teams. I mean, they're the ones going off to college in the near future, but just like to learn and grow. We've connected with nutritionists in the past. We do club events where, this weekend, we're going to run a 5K together. It's going to be cold. We're going to do it. We're going to run just so that our youngest U10 players can connect with our oldest U19 players. So just creating that community where the players can grow their confidence, their themselves as players and as people. So I hope they'd say they're proud and it's something that they want to work for and be a part of for a long time.
That's really cool. I mean, you've experienced it, right? In your own soccer career, growing up, playing soccer, going off to college, like, what you had to go through, all those, every step of the way. And now you can lend that experience and knowledge really to the program and the youth in the program. I think that's really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think, any sport, anything that you really get invested in, soccer shaped my life, my travels, my relationships, my job, which is, my career. And now, working with this club in this role, I think it's just something that it becomes a huge part of your life, and hopefully a positive part where that's like your thing. So I think that when you become committed and invested in something 100%, that it's going to be positive. And we want that for our players.
Yeah. And one of the things we're going to add is that, we have really wanted to focus on developing the female athletes because they're the ones that suffer the most from ACL injuries, regardless of the sport, obviously in soccer. So we're always going to be a smaller club, but we want to make sure that, we spend the extra 15 or 20 minutes to do specialized warm-ups to help prevent injuries. We're working with Penn Med and always, making sure that we know what we should be doing with our players to keep them, again, to focus on, what are the specific issues that the female athletes are having, as far as their development, what should we be doing with them, et cetera. So we end up, really becoming specialized in how we work with them. And obviously, what Teresa was saying, building a sense of self-worth, creating a positive attitude, where they're looking forward to starting their season with us every year. So that's really what, at the end of the day, what it's about. So
I love it. I mean, these clips, there's nothing but smiles on these young ladies' faces. That's awesome. I wanted to ask, what are some of the challenges you face, both as a semi-pro team, being here in Lancaster, or even the youth program? What are some challenges that the program faces that, maybe the community or people watching and listening can help with?
Start with the semi-pro team. It's, again, that landscape, it used to be where there was only a few teams available to play. So it's great that there's more teams, but that means there's more competition for players, recruiting players. We have built, again, we're going to be in our 11th year. So we do have a pretty good base, but we have gone through a transition, players that played with Teresa and, moved on to their careers, et cetera, after college. So last year was a rebuilding year. We have a lot of the returning players and, it just becomes challenging to ensure that we maintain our culture, but also, to getting the right players to come here. So we just learned that we got to start earlier. Every year we say, hey, we got to start 2 months earlier. Now we start it's a year-round process, really. Like Teresa said, with having our own youth program, we believe that in 3 to 4 years, they will become the ones that become the foundation. The Pro-Am is always going to be an open tryout, right? You got to compete. So I think we have players that played West Virginia, down to, McDaniels at Division III, so it's not the size of the school, but, we get to see them all together in the tryouts. And the level of soccer in the U.S., in my opinion, is still the best in the world. And we're lucky on the Pro-Am side to be able to coach some of those players. So.
That's cool. The players on the Pro-Am team, do they live here year-round, or do they come here for a season, stay with maybe host families or or something and then move back?
We have hosted players before. We will offer that, if there's one or two special players who really want to come here and spend their summer in Lancaster County. But we have players that will drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to be part of our team.
Okay.
So like I said, Lancaster County is really a hotbed for female soccer players. And we hope that, our reputation and what we've been able to accomplish, it's making it easier to recruit, but it's always competitive, right? Just like any other sport.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, I know you've got some things coming up in the very near future that we'll talk about. What do you got going on? Like, what are your goals for kind of 2025 and beyond for Lancaster Inferno?
Like Francisco said, our goal really isn't to be a huge club. We have one team per age group. We want to really develop our players. We want to grow them within our club, like I said. We want to continue education for our coaches. That's something we require. Our head coaches need to have a D license, and our assistants need to have at least the grassroots. So continue to grow our education within our coaches, and just keep connecting with our players so they're excited to play, they're excited to be there, they're excited to grow, and then ultimately just be great soccer players and humans, so that we're having successful youth become successful adults, successful females, powerful females, leaders in the community, and wherever they ended up being. That's the goal. And have a field. That would be great. An 11v11 field. That would be wonderful.
So let's talk about that. I know you've got, you mentioned earlier in the show, a turf field that's behind, I think, the List Track building up in Lidditz. We can talk about that. And I know you've got an event coming up, gala. I don't know what the right pronunciation. Gala. I don't know what the right pronunciation. Whatever.
It's okay.
So big event, fundraiser. Let's talk about that and this turf field that's coming.
Yeah, so we, Howard and Ross Kramer, the founders and co-owners of List Track, have been awesome supporters, and I mentioned before, but it's, it really shows that soccer can unite people of different backgrounds. But they really are invested in soccer, and we've been lucky that, they've been supporting us. And like I said, that, that field is going to be amazing, turf, and, be able to train there. And again, we want to reach those younger ages. And that's kind of something hard to find, where you have a 99 field or a 77 field, just because most fields are 11-11, then you cut them in half, or you have a third to practice. So this will be really help us develop the foundation for the club going forward. In addition, like you said, we are having our first fundraiser, and it's really more than a fundraiser. It's really a celebration of women's soccer. We had JP De La Camera, he's a soccer Hall of Famer, announcer, been doing the Olympics and World Cups, Women's World Cup and Men's World Cup, is the early 80s, to talk about the evolution of soccer. And also, we have Carrie Taylor, who's an executive with the United Soccer League. And she can talk about the new opportunities coming up in the pro side. And also, all the new opportunities open for beyond soccer, right? She's an executive. There's so many openings, and it's just really an exciting time. And this event is really meant for the community, not just Inferno. We have wonderful sponsors. Like I said, List Track is one of the sponsors, Members First. We'll probably sign you guys up to help sponsor it too. But it's really, we view it as a celebration and also of women's soccer and how far the sport has come. And I think it'll be a fun time too.
That's cool.
It can all be soccer, right? It's going to be some, we have a DJ, and maybe someone will show us their moves or something, but we're really excited about it.
That's cool. So Chris had the event webpage on the screen there. What are some of the details about the event? It looked like it was maybe something starting at 5:30 and then the dinner maybe at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so we have the full agenda starting at 5:30 with, of course, the VIP. Get a chance to talk one-on-one with JP.
Oh, perfect.
And,
that's cool.
and Carrie, and just, kind of have a time like that. Then we'll move on to have dinner. Then JP and Carrie are gonna give a brief talk about their experiences, and take questions from the audience, and then hopefully after that we can do a little celebrating and
dance the night away.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it'll be fun.
That's right. So you've got, I saw the ticket link there. You've got VIP tickets and you've got, I guess, non-VIP tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're watching or listening and want to attend the gala, whatever, go to this event page here on the Lancaster Inferno website. All the details are right there. Looks like it starts at $75. A great dinner, a couple of amazing
Uh-huh.
speakers, and just a good time. And maybe you'll see some fun dance moves. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you want to share about this event?
So, I mean,
It'll be a good time. There might be a prize for best dressed.
Oh, okay. All right.
From me, I'll get you a prize. There's silent auction. But yeah, it's just a great time for a good soccer community and anybody who wants to support the women's soccer community or enjoys a good night out.
That's awesome.
And one of the reasons that we do this, and you said how can the community help us? We do depend probably more than the bigger clubs on sponsors. First of all, we're committed. We're always going to provide the first class of everything that we have. We rent from Spook and Nook. We go to great tournaments. Provide all the things that the bigger clubs are going to do. So obviously, because we're smaller, we need more sponsors to help us cover some of those costs so that we can keep our rates competitive with the other big clubs in the area. And we have been really lucky. Penn Med has been a partner with us for the last 10 years. And throughout the years, different sponsors will step up, and it's been great. And I think that right now, investing in women's soccer, especially in the pro-am side and also moving on to the pro side is the right time. So I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. And I think you mentioned to me pre-show that you were going to have a ribbon cutting for this turf field at some point.
Yes, we are. We were hoping, I think the snow may delay it, but I know the turf, talking to Howard earlier today, Howard Kramer, he said the turf's going to be delivered on the 27th.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes, but it's taking shape. It's really been exciting, being from the beginning where it was just a grass field and all the work that's going on. Really excited, and hopefully, again, this is something that, it'll be the Inferno home field, but their commitment from Howard and Ross is that will also be available for others in the community to use it, and to create that soccer community. And, so I think the community should also be expecting to be able to use that.
That's cool.
For their,
so what's special about, is it artificial turf? Is that and you don't have to maintain it as much as you'd have to maintain a grass field across 4 seasons in Pennsylvania? Is that the benefit of an artificial turf field?
It's flat,
only that,
smooth, to mow.
No bumps,
almost year round. But beyond the turf, if Howard and Ross, they're doing everything first class. We got lighting. There's there's just the seating area. Fence around the field.
Cool.
So. We'll invite you guys, and maybe we'll do a show from there once it gets warmer.
Hey, let's do it. I love that. That's cool. So that ribbon cutting, pay attention to your social media channels. I'm sure you'll announce that if and when you're able to do that at some point here when the snow clears. That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to know, we're kind of wrapping up our time here, talking about the Lancaster Inferno. How did the Lancaster Inferno get the name? Who came up with the Inferno name, and what's the significance of it? Don't know.
I don't know. Not sure.
Actually, the current president of PA Classic is the one that started the club.
Okay.
So when we got it from him, it was already Inferno.
Okay.
And we decided to keep the name because I really couldn't afford to rebrand and get all new uniforms.
Sure.
Yeah, the Inferno. Obviously, we changed the logo and stuff. So now we're Lank Inferno. So it's been. We thought it was important to keep the legacy. Yeah. I know different clubs like to change their names and stuff, but like Teresa said, it started in 2008, right? So it's part of the Lancaster legacy, and we're happy that so we were able to, that someone started it, and we're going to keep it going, and
that's awesome.
That's how it works.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any significance to the Inferno name, if it meant anything relative to Lancaster County or not. I think it's a cool name, and I love the logo. I think it's awesome. In fact, the day that we booked the show, or the day after we booked the show, I was driving down the road and I looked up and saw one of the digital billboards, and I'm like, there they are. You're advertising the gala event. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what that is. So that was just cool.
Our executive director, Stephanie Cleaves, is a magic worker with her design. So we'll give a shout out to her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I haven't mentioned is that we are going to be doing what is it, jersey reveal or something.
Yeah.
We're having a custom jersey design for the women's team. Working from a company out of Miami, and I think the uniforms are being made in Brazil. But that's going to be again exciting, and hopefully we can do a big show on that, and it'll reflect more of Lancaster County, so more to come on that. So
that's cool. I mean, jersey reveals are a big deal. I know, like MLB and NBA, and like any professional sports team. That's like the next year's uniform when they unveil that. It's a big deal. So that's cool. We'll pay attention for that as well. Kind of as we wrap up our time here, how can the community help support Lancaster Inferno? Obviously, we can attend the gala. I should find out how to say that word. Gala.
Both are okay.
So, attending the gala, coming to soccer games, I would think would be one. Maybe even investing in the program if you're a small business as a sponsor. What are some ways that the Lancaster community can support the Lancaster Inferno program?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. I mean, for small businesses or other businesses, being part of it, we do a pretty good job with USL. I mean, all our games are streamed, so the reach is pretty big. And like I said, we've had some sponsors have been with us for a lot of years, and then every year we get a new one. And we really wanted to become part of the community, but we've in the program side, we've developed a small but committed following. We offer discount tickets for seniors, and
cool.
It's obviously playing in the high schools. It's always going to be a family atmosphere, and if we get to play at a Clipper, obviously there'll be some adult beverages that people can enjoy. But yeah, you really just come to the game supporting. Like I said, you get to watch world class athletes in your backyard, and that's what's awesome about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just come to games. That's as a player, it's just great to have that support of the fans, and for the young players, see a lot of them come and be ball girls and support us that way. But it's great to see the young ones at the games and their families.
Last year we had a great opportunity. We played down at Richmond. Richmond Kickers has a pro men's side, and we played their women's side in front of 6,000 fans.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So You asked me, I mean, that's our goal, to get the fans. I mean, the excitement that was there, and it was great experience for all our players. We want to recreate that in Lancaster County.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I mean, best of luck to both of you growing the program. Thanks so much for being on the show and sharing about everything that Lancaster Inferno does. We've had the web address on the screen. There it is. Our excellent producer, Chris from Cast Ahead Productions, has thrown it on the screen there, lancasterinferno.com. Check out the website. There it is, Instagram, Lank Inferno. Share, like, all that stuff. And of course, YouTube, you got a YouTube channel, probably the soccer clips that we're watching there. And then of course, follow on Facebook for all the information about all the great things that you're doing there at Lancaster Inferno. This is exciting. I honestly, I really didn't know a lot about Lancaster Inferno. I'm not a soccer player myself, and I don't really follow it, but I'm going to start. This is really cool. And it's exciting. I didn't know much about, volleyball here in Lancaster, and that's a big deal. My daughter has played it now for 5 or 6 years, and oh my gosh, it's exciting watching these young ladies play volleyball. And I'm sure the same exists with Lancaster Inferno and the product you put on the field there. So congrats for, building the program to what it is. And of course, best of luck in the future, building it beyond, 2025 and beyond. So
we appreciate it.
Yeah. And good luck with your upcoming ribbon cutting for the turf field and the gala event. I think that's going to be awesome. So anything else you'd like to share about Lancaster Inferno before we wrap up our time there?
No, we appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking and giving us the opportunity to be on your podcast. So
yeah,
it's been great.
Teresa didn't mention it, but she is a local product in the Conestoga Valley High School. I mean, so
go Buckskins.
And we do have a lot of players like that, and it's been pretty cool. But like I said, we do have players traveling from other parts of the state and even Maryland. But we want to make sure that we have this opportunity for the local players that want to get to the next level. So that's
awesome.
On the program side, that's really our mission. So
that's great. That's great. Well, you're definitely doing it right and growing, which is really, really cool. So
thank you.
Do you have a little bit of time for a few more questions, maybe to get to know you a little bit better?
Sure.
All right. I mean, I feel like, there's a new graphic. Look, this is part of our renovation here. So yeah, new logo,
nice.
new graphics there. So, all right. Let's see. Connection Cocktail, just a few questions to get to know you guys a little bit better. I want to know each of your favorite professional soccer teams. I'm sure, and it can't be Lancaster Inferno, because I know that's number one. But what's the favorite professional soccer team?
I actually don't have one. I just like any soccer team. I'm like that with any sport. I don't have a team.
You're a fan
I just
of the
like
games.
to watch sports. I'm a fan of the game.
You want to watch good soccer. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan of the English Premier League.
Okay.
And, I unfortunately follow Manchester United, which is...
Did you say unfortunately?
Yeah. They're not doing really well this year.
Oh, okay.
But,
right. Hey.
It's exciting because I follow their women's side too. And that's one of the leagues that I think is coming up. And the only, obviously we support the national teams.
Yep.
The women's and the men's, being from Honduras, the only time that I can't support the U.S. is when they're playing Honduras. Even though with the awesome players that the U.S. men's team have, we don't stand too much of a chance, but that's the only time.
Gotcha. All right. So if you're not playing or coaching soccer, what are you doing here in Lancaster County? What's your favorite thing to do for recreation?
I'm usually at a toddler park these days. So these cold days have been rough, but I'm a second grade teacher. So I teach, and then I come home to my 2-year-old and we play hide and seek, and we go for walks and parks. We love parks.
We have an awesome garden. You grow your own.
Yeah, we garden. We love our garden.
That's cool.
It's fun.
That's cool. 2.5 is a fun age. It can be super challenging.
Yeah.
Super challenging, but That's a fun.
And super awesome.
That's a fun age. That's cool.
Thanks, Mom, for watching her.
That's awesome. Go, Mom. Your first soccer coach. Your first soccer coach.
My first soccer coach and my babysitter. Dad, you watch her too. I know. You both are equal.
That's awesome. Francisco, what are you doing if you're not playing or coaching soccer?
Like my wife says, that's really all I do is soccer.
Okay.
Either watching it or doing something with it. I mean, it's really exciting. Obviously, I mean, you see you. We're in Notre Dame as a domer. You know, I get to follow their football team and also their women's soccer team.
You watch your grandkids all the time.
Yeah. That's a given.
Yep. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So last question. Favorite restaurant here in Lancaster County? Who wants to go first?
I like a restaurant called Booley's in Columbia. I'm not far from there. In Columbia, some like up and coming things. They have a neat little town down there. So
that's cool. We've asked that question a number of times on the show, and I haven't heard Booley's before. I mean, I've heard of Booley's before, but nobody's mentioned it. So that's awesome. We'll check it out. How about you, Francisco?
I know downtown Lancaster has a lot of great restaurants. Yes. You know, since we're here at Montgomery, our DM has become one of my go-to.
Yep.
But I'll go through stages. I mean, I think it's great that we are able to choose. We'll have a choice, right, in restaurants. So per DM right now is one. And the main reason is because it stays open later than 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So that.
You know where I went this winter? Josephine's across from Market. I went there for the first time. It was the best steak ever.
Yep, I've heard that too.
It was for a Christmas party. And it was wonderful.
I mean, we're really kind of spoiled here in Lancaster. I mean, over the last 20 plus years or so, it's just so many amazing restaurants. And it's not just downtown Lancaster. Kind of like you said, you've got some cool things going on in Columbia, Lidditz. Really, every community has some awesome options for food. There's like no shortage.
You could ask my favorite pub. I was going to say Bull's Head.
Bull's Head. There you go. Yep. That's awesome. Teresa, looks like you have a fan joining. I don't know if Chris put that on the screen yet, but it looks like Joyce said, "You're welcome, Teresa." And she loves the Inferno. So I guess that's Mom.
Awesome, my child.
So she's on social media. She's just on Facebook, you know, just scrolling. maybe your child is asleep.
Right more.
He's napping. Well, I'm sorry. She's napping.
Yes. Yeah. She'll be playing soon for the Inferno.
That's awesome.
Couple years.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, Francisco and Teresa. Thank you so much for being on the show, sharing about Lancaster Inferno, sharing a little bit about your own soccer journeys. Again, wish you best of luck in the future with your, of course, event, your turf field, and your youth, growing your youth program. I think it's really, really cool what you're doing right here in the Lancaster community. So thanks for being on the show. This has been awesome.
Thanks so much for having us. This is fun.
Yep. Awesome. Have a great afternoon.
All right. You too.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks.
That was so cool. That was so cool. You know, I think club sports has become big in Lancaster County and other communities as well. I mentioned my daughter plays volleyball, and it actually was in a tournament this past weekend in Atlantic City. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join them, but they have a lot of fun in the club program, and just like Lancaster Inferno, it's more than just playing volleyball, and like Lancaster Inferno, it's more than just playing soccer. It's learning life skills and growing beyond just what you do on the field as a person, as a human being. I think those were the words that Teresa used. So it was great to hear about everything that Lancaster Inferno is doing. Definitely go out and support them. Go to a game. Support their gala event, go to the ribbon cutting that's upcoming, and like and share their stuff on social media. I think that's important for any program that you can, just the more people that are aware that programs like that exist, the more impact they can have with the youth inside the community. I think it's really, really cool. All right, so we're going to wrap up the show here. Got a couple things going on. We've got our community rundown here. I'm going to bring that up here. I usually print it out, but I didn't. Chris has got it here on the screen. What we do for our community rundown here at Lancaster Connects is we look through our Facebook feed. We find some cool things going on, maybe some events or news that a business, either a small business here in Lancaster or a nonprofit or community benefit organization shares on their social media. We like and follow it and state that we're going to share it on the show. So here we go. We've got a cool thing coming up here from Lancaster City Alliance, posted it, but it's Cella's Arepa Kitchen. They've got a ribbon cutting ceremony coming up for their new kitchen that's going to be in downtown Lancaster. Right there it is on the screen. I think they've been a food, I don't know if truck is the right word, kind of a semi-permanent food truck over by Costco right off of Route 30, but they've got a downtown location they're opening up at 325 North Queen Street. Looks like the ribbon cutting is there on January 23rd at 12:30. If you're not aware, they bring South American-inspired comfort cuisine to Lancaster, honoring the legacy of Cella's, the founder's beloved grandmother. So, authentic South American-inspired food. They have family recipes and vibrant flavors. The restaurant invites guests to celebrate life's simple joys through delicious meals and meaningful connections. So if you're looking for something fun to do on the 23rd around lunchtime, definitely check them out at their ribbon cutting. I've had their food before. It's pretty amazing. So definitely go check that out. Our second one here, we've got Help the Fight. Help the Fight has been on, oh goodness, I'm almost destroying the studio. Help the Fight has been on Lancaster Connects in the past. It's a nonprofit that supports those going through a breast cancer diagnosis or treatment. Amazing charity. Linda Charles and the team there at Help the Fight do amazing work for those going through breast cancer treatment. So they've got a gun bingo coming up only 1 week away, hence the one billiard ball there. They've Sunday, looks like it's this upcoming Sunday. We got an afternoon of fun, food, and fantastic prizes. The doors open at 11 a.m. The bingo is from 1:30 to 4 o'clock. They've got 20 different bingo games. They've got barbecue at noon, drinks available all day. Must be 21 to attend. Bring your luck, your appetite, and stay tuned for more information. Follow their Facebook page. It's probably the best way to stay in touch with Help the Fight and everything that they do. But if you want more information, go to their Facebook page or their website, helpthefight.org. And if you want to go to their gun bingo, there it is. All right. So last but not least, and again, my favorite announcements always revolve around ice cream. I found out the Lidditz Ice Cream Festival is happening. I believe this is the first ever ice cream festival. Think of it like a beer festival. There's been beer festivals in both Lidditz and Lancaster cities over the years. Think of the Lancaster Beer Fest, but instead of beer, it's ice cream. There are, it's the inaugural event. It's during the Lidditz Fire and Ice Festival. It's on February 22nd. The Fire and Ice Festival is a 2-week festival up in Lidditz. Ice sculptures, all kinds of fun things going on during that. But man, we've listened to this lineup of ice cream or cold treat providers. We've got Fox Meadows Creamery, Greco's Italian Ices and Ice Cream, of course, Isabella's Ice Cream Parlor, Kreider Farms, Lickety Split, my personal favorite, Nikki's Custard, Penny's, and Mannheim Twin Kiss. My apologies if I left somebody out. Oh my gosh. Sampling some ice cream or cold treats from each of those vendors, that sounds like a dream come true. Tickets are $20. And all proceeds go to benefit the friends and neighbors at Water Street Rescue Mission in downtown Lancaster. Space is limited. You can get your tickets at lidditzicecreamfest.com. I better get my ticket now. I don't want to miss out. Thanks to the co-sponsors, Stray Production Services, Lincoln Shoe Company, and Old Brick Lighting. So that's really, really cool. This ice cream fest right here in Lidditz on February 22nd. All right, that's the community rundown. Got a couple minutes left. We will share a handwritten testimonial here from Gardner's Mattress and More. Again, Lancaster Connects is kind of our outreach effort, one of our outreach efforts for Gardner's Mattress and More. It's one of our ways to give back to the community. We have a kind of a perpetual food drive that we do. We donate mattresses and bed frames to Off the Streets as part of our Gardner's Give Back initiative. It's our way to support the community, the Lancaster community that supports us and our business here at Gardner's Mattress and More. So because it's Gardner's investment in the show, we're going to give Gardner's a little shout out here. This came in the mail over the weekend from Desiree and Chris. They bought a mattress from Gardner's, and seems like they are now waking up happy every morning, which is what we do here at Gardner's. They felt working with Chad, one of our sales associates here, was as easy as talking to a friend. We knew what we wanted, but he helped confirm our needs. So that was cool. Thanks for writing that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy was our process to properly fit them for the right mattress. And they said it was an excellent experience. We were afraid we would have to deal with a mega store, like a box chain store, which, they're around. But it was nice to find a local store like our parents used to. So I thought that was cool. That's definitely what we strive for, kind of that old school customer service vibe. Buying a mattress shouldn't be difficult. We try to make it not difficult. We listen to our customers and try to match their sleep needs to the mattress that best fits those needs. We have a comfort exchange program. If you don't like it, we can help you exchange it. But really, we want to make sure that the process is easy and smooth. What do they say? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So thank you, Desiree and Chris, for the kind words and sharing them with us. So that's the show. We've got a great lineup of shows coming up. I think we're booked out now through the middle of March. If you'd like to get on Lancaster Connects and share your story for your organization, small business, nonprofit, community benefit organization, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, fill out the simple form, and we can book you on the show. Thank you to Teresa and Francisco from the Lancaster Inferno Soccer Club based right here in Lancaster. It was a great conversation. I wish them a lot of luck with their upcoming events and what they're doing for the youth soccer programs here in Lancaster. Again, so thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you on the next connection.